Lucy Letby is accused of the murder of
7 babies and the attempted murder of 10 others.
While she was working on the neonatal unit at the Countess of Chester Hospital.
Letby denies all of the charges over the incidents.
How would you describe the crimes of Lucy Letby?
Horrible, horrific and evil. They are the worst crimes that I've had the displeasure of investigating in 28 and sometime years service.
It's the case nobody wanted to believe could be true.
She is not the first NHS serial killer, and Lucy Letby is unlikely to be the last.
Envision your recently born child in the hospital, grappling with a range of medical challenges. The nurse assigned to attend to your most beloved little one seems committed and genuinely concerned about your child's well-being. Unbeknownst to you, however, lies a hidden agenda. This nurse intends to ensure that your child never departs the hospital alive. Step into the realm of true crime capital, introducing Lucy Letby, Britain's most notorious contemporary serial killer. Letby was born on January 4th, 1990 in Hereford, England. She grew up as the only child of Susan and John Letby, who are 63 and 77 years old, respectively. Her father, a retired finance manager, and her mother, an accounts clerk, raised her in a 1930s semi-detached home located in a cul-de-sac in Hereford. Even now, they reside in the same house they purchased shortly after their marriage. They have a tradition of vacationing in Torquay 3 times each year, and this practice continued until July 2018. Throughout her life, Letby occasionally confided in colleagues and friends about feeling both suffocated and guilty due to her parents' attachment. She would express that they missed her and were uncomfortable with her living independently. Her interactions with them, including calls and texts, occurred on a daily basis, and she described their involvement as occasionally overwhelming. In one instance, she told a doctor friend considering a move to New Zealand that she could never make such a decision because it would deeply devastate her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Letby were seemingly caring parents, showering their daughter with love since her birth, which took place 5 months after their July 1989 wedding. As Letby grew, she brought delight to her parents. She managed a part-time position at W.H. Smith in the city, which made her parents immensely proud. Letby's educational journey took her through Aylstone School and Hereford Sixth Form College. She completed her honors degree, leading to a graduation celebration marked by an announcement in the local newspaper, the Hereford Times. The announcement featured a picture of Letby wearing a mortarboard and holding her degree certificate. Her parents expressed their pride in the message, which read, "Letby Lucy BSc Hans in child nursing. We are so proud of you after all your hard work. Love Mom and Dad." Breaking new ground within her family, Letby was the first to pursue a university education, successfully graduating in September 2011. Her focus turned to nursing, and she pursued her education at the University of Chester. During her 3 years of training, she also worked as a student nurse, gaining experience through placements at Liverpool Women's Hospital and the Countess of Chester Hospital. In 2012, Letby commenced her role as a registered nurse within the neonatal unit at the Countess of Chester Hospital. In a profile published in 2013, she detailed her responsibilities, which encompassed the care of a diverse spectrum of babies necessitating varying levels of support. She expressed satisfaction in witnessing their developmental progress and providing support to their families. Furthermore, Letby actively participated in a fundraising campaign aimed at establishing a new neonatal unit within the hospital. During the latter part of 2012 and early 2015, Letby undertook 2 training placements at Liverpool Women's Hospital. The trajectory of her career encountered a shift in June 2016 when consultants advocated for Letby's removal from clinical duties. This action was taken as a result of an ongoing investigation into her professional conduct. A prior shift change from nights to days in April 2016 had already been initiated by the unit's ward manager. Subsequently, Letby's position underwent a transition. In July 2016, she was reassigned to the patient experience team, followed by a subsequent placement within the Risk and Patient Safety Office. This role persisted until 2018.
I would describe her as a person as being beige. She had a normal friendship group, a family. She had a normal social life, everything you would expect somebody in their 20s to do. She used that normality and the trust that she obtained through that as a cover for the crimes that she committed.
In June 2015, a consultant and lead neonatologist at the Countess of Chester Hospital informally assessed 4 unexplained collapses within the unit. Tragically, 3 of these incidents resulted in deaths during the same month. On June 8, 2015, at 8:26 p.m., a baby boy named Child A was attended to by Nurse Letby. She had been assigned as the nurse for the night. Tragically, a little before 9 p.m., the boy passed away in a sudden and shocking manner, with air having been injected into his bloodstream. Merely 28 hours following this incident, an attempt was made on the life of baby B, twin sister to baby A. Thankfully, baby B managed to survive this attempt. On June 14, 2015, the mother of baby C recalled the intense surge of emotions that engulfed her when she embraced her infant, whom she affectionately referred to as my little spirited son. Tragically, the baby's health took an abrupt turn, leading to complications that resulted in his untimely passing. Nurse Letby was the nurse responsible during this shift. On June 22, 2015, baby D's life came to an unexpected end while under the supervision of Lucy. The mother of baby D expressed that the loss shattered her confidence, both as a woman and a wife. She further conveyed that her marriage endured significant hardships in the aftermath of this tragedy. While the unit's consultants reported these deaths to the Trust's committee responsible for serious incidents, the committee categorized them as medication errors rather than serious incidents involving unexpected deaths. This classification prevented an immediate investigative response. On August 4, 2015, baby E, the twin sibling of baby F, experienced an abrupt and unforeseen passing. Then, on the subsequent day, August 5th, at 1:54 in the early morning, baby F faced an unexpected episode of decreased blood sugar levels and an elevated heart rate. Fortunately, the baby pulled through, but subsequent testing unveiled the administration of unnecessary insulin. Strangely, the insulin had been stored in a securely locked refrigerator adjacent to the nurse's station. Lucy was the only nurse on call.
The paediatricians were discussing, the terrible nights on call that they were having. One of them said, every time this is happening to me, that I'm being called in for these catastrophic events, which were unexpected and unexplained, Lucy Letby is there. And then somebody else said, yes, I found that. And then someone else had the same response.
Baby G, delivered at an incredibly premature 23 weeks, tipped the scales at a mere 1 pound and 2 ounces. Given a mere 5% probability of survival, she astoundingly responded positively to the attentive treatment she was receiving at the time. It was in September 2015, during Letby's tenure as her caretaker, that suspicions arose of 2 alleged instances of mistreatment. Astonishingly, baby G managed to weather these episodes. Regrettably, the aftermath of Letby's actions left baby G with profound disabilities.
But baby G's case was one of the many troubling cases, of course, that were looked at here. The most premature baby of those who were looked at, and a baby that did survive. She was born here in September 2015, actually at Arrow Park Hospital, and then came here for treatment. And it's only when she came here that Lucy Letby had access to her. And when she was born at just 23 weeks old. She weighed 1 pound 2 ounces and was given just a 5% chance of life. And she responded well to the care she received at Arrow Park and here. But when Lucy Letby was in charge of her care, we know that the jury are sure that she attacked her twice.
Baby I was alert, content, and feeding well before she died, her mother said. The family was planning to bring their daughter home when they were told she'd had collapsed. The incident happened on the 23rd of October, 2015. She was our gorgeous little princess, and I can't even begin to explain the pain when we lost her, her mother said. She has had therapy and taken medication over the past 6 years to cope with her daughter's death. A subsequent review by the ward manager in October 2015 confirmed Letby as the common staff member present during the incidents, with findings conveyed to the lead neonatologist. Concerns about Letby were raised by the unit's consultants to the nursing director in the same month. In February 2016, Letby's presence was identified as the sole common factor in a thematic review of 5 unexplained deaths and additional collapses within the unit, conducted by the nursing director and other consultants. The lead neonatologist shared the findings with the trust's medical director through email, requesting a meeting. However, the executive team once again viewed the occurrences as coincidental and took no immediate action. Reports from MBRACE UK during the period from June 2015 to June 2016 revealed a neonatal death rate surpassing the expected figure by at least 10%, with 2015's total double that of 2014. The Care Quality Commission, CQC, assessed the hospital in February 2016 and discussed concerns with the trust's medical director, including challenges faced by staff when raising concerns with managers. Although the high mortality rate was not explicitly raised during the visit, the CQC's report pointed to short staffing and skill mix challenges while commending the trust's very positive culture, fostering an environment where staff could voice concerns and grow professionally. On the 9th of April 2016, the parents of baby M were called due to the deterioration of their child's condition. After multiple attempts by the doctors, the baby recovered. Baby Elle was the twin to baby M, both boys. It was reported that just the night before, baby Elle also ran into complications after being under the care of Lucy. Baby Elle was injected with insulin, but subsequently recovered. Thankfully, both baby Elle and M survived. During June 2016, an endeavor was made to harm baby N's life. His mother conveyed the profound impact of this incident, stating, "The day we received the call to rush to the neonatal unit was the most agonizing day we've ever experienced." She further articulated, "We were left questioning how a previously healthy baby boy could be perfectly fine one moment and then suddenly have distressing symptoms like bleeding from the mouth, requiring immediate CPR. As a precautionary measure, the family continues to employ a camera within the bedroom of their now 7-year-old child, ensuring they can monitor his well-being as he slumbers." She emphasized their profound protectiveness, explaining, "We've adopted an extremely cautious stance. We chose to educate him at home to prevent anyone else from taking care of him."
It's something that nobody really wants to consider, that a member of staff might be harming the babies under your care.
On June 23, 2016, Letby was responsible for the care of child O, one of a set of triplets. The baby boy fell ill during her watch. Although he initially showed signs of improvement, the baby experienced subsequent deteriorations, culminating in a devastating pronouncement of death at 5:47. Upon examination, it was discovered that the child had sustained a liver injury, and once again air had been introduced into the bloodstream. The following day saw the passing of child O's sibling, child P, and the familiar figure of Lucy Letby was once again associated with this tragedy. Both baby O and baby P were part of the triplet set, with one of their brothers remaining unharmed. The father of the boys recounted the painful experience of witnessing baby O's decline and eventual passing. "The sight was utterly devastating. It's an indelible image etched in my memory," he shared. His statement was punctuated with sobs. He revealed that the ordeal had inflicted severe emotional distress on him, leading to episodes of mental breakdowns and a battle against alcohol dependency and thoughts of suicide. To this day, he remains categorized as being on extended sick leave due to his struggles. In late June 2016, executive directors at the trust deliberated on whether to involve the police, marking the first instance of considering this step. At this point, 7 unexpected deaths had occurred within the unit. The evidence linking Letby to these events was deemed circumstantial, and there were concerns among some that the doctors were engaging in a witch hunt. The potential reputational damage of a police investigation was also on their minds. Ultimately, the decision was made not to contact the police. Instead, the medical director and chief executive opted for an independent review by the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, RCPCH, which began in September 2016. Additionally, the unit's status was downgraded. Consequently, in July 2016, the unit ceased admitting premature infants born before 32 weeks and redirected them to other Northwest England hospitals, such as Alder Hey Children's Hospital. The trust initiated a review with a narrow focus, deliberately excluding an examination of Letby's actions and the related deaths. Instead, the review concentrated on assessing the general service provided. The results of this review by the RCPCH were presented to the medical director and chief executive in October 2016. Although the report couldn't definitively explain the rise in mortality rates within the unit, it did highlight insufficient staffing and senior coverage as contributing factors. The report advised a comprehensive case review for each death, The medical director then engaged consultant neonatologist Jane Hawden from Great Ormond Street Hospital to conduct these case reviews. However, due to time constraints, Hawden was only able to provide a summary after a brief review of the notes. She forwarded her report to the Trust's executives, within which she identified 4 cases that could potentially benefit from local forensic review. The chair of the Trust later expressed that he had been misinformed about the extent of the review and its findings. In September 2016, Letby formally raised a grievance concerning her shift from clinical duties. In January 2017, the board upheld her grievance, concluding that her removal had been orchestrated by the consultants without substantial evidence.
This is the letter they sent Lucy Letby, signed by all 7 paediatric consultants in the unit. Against their wishes, they apologised for any inappropriate comments that may have been made, going on to say, "We are very sorry for the stress and upset that you have experienced in the last year." Though the paediatricians feared being reported to the regulator, they kept going, pressurising executives to call the police.
In their official report, they advocated for her return to the neonatal unit and offered her an opportunity to work at Alder Hey Children's Hospital in Liverpool, coupled with support for advanced practice or pursuing a master's degree. The medical director noted in the report that the Trust's aim was to safeguard Letby from the allegations. To address the situation, the Trust's chief executive met with Letby and her parents on December 22, 2016, extending an apology on behalf of the organization. Assurances were given that the doctors making allegations would be addressed. Subsequently, the consultants were instructed to send an apology letter to Letby, which they complied with in February 2017. In March 2017, the consultants, after receiving counsel from the regional neonatal lead, recognized the need for further investigation and sought police involvement. They met with Cheshire Constabulary on April 27, 2017, to express their concerns, a few days before Letby's scheduled return to work on May 3, 2017. The Trust publicly announced the involvement of the police in May 2017, explaining that this decision was aimed at seeking assurance to eliminate the possibility of unnatural causes of death. On July 3, 2018, Letby was taken into custody by the police based on suspicion of 8 murder charges and 6 attempted murder charges. This arrest came after a year-long inquiry into the elevated rates of infant mortality at the Countess of Chester Hospital.
Oh, Lucy, is it?
Yes.
Hello, my name's from Chester, please. Locate Steph in 2 seconds.
Yes?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. I'm going to put you in the back seat over here.
Hold on, man.
Yes. Okay, just take a seat in there for me, Lucy. I'll move that seat forward a bit. Shortly.
Yeah, I've just had knee surgery.
Oh, right, okay.
Subsequent to her arrest, authorities searched Letby's residence in Chester. Following her apprehension, the investigation broadened its scope to encompass Liverpool Women's Hospital, another facility where Letby had been employed. The initial investigation yielded no evidence of harm inflicted on patients at that hospital. On July 6, 2018, Letby was released on bail as the police continued their investigations. However, she was taken into custody once again on June 10, 2019, in connection with 8 alleged murders and 9 cases of attempted murder involving infants. Subsequently, on November 10, 2020, she was rearrested, marking another turn in the investigation. On November 11, 2020, Letby faced formal charges, including 8 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. Following her charges, she was denied bail and held in police custody.
They told me that there had been a lot more deaths and that I'd been linked to somebody that was there for a lot of them.
Did you have any concerns that there was a rise in the mortality rate?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that. What concerns did you have?
I think we'd all just noticed as a team in general, the nursing staff, that this was a rise compared to previous years.
During the search of her residence, a diary containing disturbing phrases like, "I am evil, I did this," was discovered. Within her bedroom, hospital handover sheets were found stuffed into shopping bags. A total of 257 such sheets were recovered. Many of these sheets contained detailed information about the babies who had tragically passed away under her care. Investigations into her online presence revealed that she had searched for information about 11 families that were affected by the incidents. It was also uncovered that she had sent sympathy cards to some of the parents of the victims, and she had stored an image of one such card on her phone. A thorough analysis of her work shift patterns revealed a concerning pattern. Letby was the sole staff member on duty during all the incidents. Throughout the process, Letby maintained her innocence against all 22 charges, attributing the deaths to hospital hygiene and staffing levels. The trial of Letby commenced on October 10, 2022, at Manchester Crown Court, under the jurisdiction of Mr. Justice Goss. The trial was expected to last for 6 months, with Letby facing 7 murder charges and 15 attempted murder charges concerning 10 infants. She pleaded not guilty to all charges. Throughout the trial, Letby's parents and the families of the victims were present in the courtroom. Due to legal restrictions, the children involved in the case were not identified by their names and were referred to as Child A to Child Q. According to Helen Pidd of The Guardian, the degree of press secrecy surrounding the identities of both the 17 babies and the 9 colleagues who provided evidence was uncommon outside cases involving national security matters. Prior to the criminal trial, Mrs. Justice Stein had issued a ban preventing the identification of living children until they turned 18. While parents sought to shield their identifying details, including occupations, the judge determined that the profession of one parent, a physician, was pertinent due to their medical expertise. This detail would not render the parent easily recognizable to the public. Several colleagues required anonymity to testify, including a doctor with whom Letby was reportedly infatuated. The judge prioritized obtaining testimony from these colleagues over public identifiability. The prosecution portrayed Letby as a constant malevolent presence within the hospital's neonatal unit. The prosecution claimed that Letby injected air into the bloodstream of 2 victims and employed insulin to commit murder in other cases. A mother of one of the victims recounted an incident where she interrupted Letby attempting to harm her baby, with Letby responding, "Trust me, I'm a nurse." During the trial, it emerged that Letby had been instructed multiple times not to enter a room where grieving parents of one of the alleged victims were situated. Letby's defense lawyer contended that she was a dedicated nurse in a system which has failed. The defense argued that the prosecution's case rested on the presumption of deliberate harm, combined with coincidental instances of Letby's presence. They asserted that the situation reflected a significant failure of care within a busy neonatal unit, which was far too substantial to attribute to a single individual. The defense raised questions about the cause of extraordinary bleeding in a baby boy Letby allegedly murdered, suggesting it might have been caused by a rigid wire or tube. Additionally, they highlighted that one of the surviving babies had been administered an extremely high insulin dose. Text messages sent by Letby to her friends were presented in court during the trial. In one message, Letby discussed the baby deaths, describing them as sad and cruel and heartbreaking. She further expressed, "It's not about me or anyone else. It's those poor parents who have to walk away without their baby. It's so unbelievably sad." Letby also shared with a colleague that taking Child A to the mortuary was the hardest thing she ever had to do. A pediatrician from the Countess of Chester Hospital testified during the trial, revealing that he and other medical professionals had previously voiced concerns about Letby. However, they were reportedly discouraged by hospital superiors, who advised them not to speak up and not to make a fuss. Another doctor who testified mentioned an incident where Letby had remarked about one of the premature babies, saying, "He's not leaving here alive, is he?" approximately an hour before the child's passing. On the trial's 4th day, the prosecution introduced a handwritten note from Letby. The note contained phrases like, "I am evil, I did this," and indicated that she had killed them on purpose, due to her inability to care for them. The defense argued that the note was a reflection of Letby's distress and desperation when confronted with the gravity of the accusations against her. They contended that she wrote the note during a period when she was dealing with employment-related issues, including a grievance procedure with the NHS Trust. Other notes written by Letby were also presented in court. In 2 of these notes, she questioned the circumstances that led to her current situation, expressing frustration at not being allowed back on the neonatal unit. In May 2023, Letby herself testified in court. She stated that she felt portrayed as incompetent. but emphasized that she had no intention of causing harm. When asked about the "I am evil, I did this" note, Letby explained that she wrote it while feeling that any mistake she made must have been so severe to categorize her as an evil person. She revealed that the allegations had profoundly impacted her mental well-being, causing her to feel isolated from her colleagues and friends on the unit. She expressed, "I don't think you can be accused of anything worse than that." This turmoil had led to a decline in her mental health and self-confidence. During her testimony, Letby also broke down in tears. After a trial spanning 9 months on July 10, 2023, the jury was instructed to deliberate on verdicts following the summing up by trial judge Mr. Justice Goss. Verdicts began to be delivered by the jury on various days starting from August 8th. The final verdicts were announced on August 18th, revealing the details of the outcomes. Letby was found guilty of 7 counts of murder relating to the deaths of 7 babies in 2015 and 2016. The charges included injecting them with air, overfeeding, insulin poisoning, and assaulting them with medical instruments. Her actions marked her as the most prolific serial child killer in modern British history. Additionally, Letby was convicted of 7 counts of attempted murder involving 6 babies during the same period. However, the jury remained undecided regarding the attempted murder charges concerning 4 more infants. She was acquitted of 2 counts of attempted murder. On August 21, 2023, Mr. Justice Goss issued Letby's sentencing at Manchester Crown Court. She was handed a life imprisonment term with a whole life order, the most stringent sentence permitted by English law. This order signifies that she will remain in custody for life, with no possibility of release. Notably absent from the courtroom during the sentencing, Letby became the 4th woman in UK legal history to receive a whole life order. Mr. Justice Goss characterized her actions as a cruel, calculated, and cynical campaign of child murder involving the smallest and most vulnerable of children. He emphasized her lack of remorse and the gravity of her offenses, underscoring the need for a whole life order. Letby declined to attend the sentencing proceedings, consequently not being present to hear the victim impact statements or her sentence. In response to this, the Justice Secretary, Alex Chalk, expressed the government's intention to explore changes to the law to ensure that defendants are compelled to attend their sentencing.
There was a deep malevolence bordering on sadism in your actions. During the course of this trial, you have coldly denied any responsibility for your wrongdoing and sought to attribute some fault to others. You have no remorse. There are no mitigating factors. In their totality, the offences of murder and attempted murder were of exceptionally high seriousness, and just punishment, according to law, requires a whole life order.
Following her sentencing, Lucy Letby will be incarcerated at HMP Low Newton, a closed prison for women where Joanna Dennehy is also held. Despite being a steady presence throughout their daughter's 10-month trial at Manchester Crown Court, Lucy Letby's parents, Susan and John, were notably absent for the sentencing after she was officially declared the most prolific child serial killer in modern British history. The couple had attended every day of the trial proceedings. In a departure from their prior attendance, they were not there for the final verdicts, and once again, they chose not to appear during the sentencing hearing where Letby received a whole life order. The parents had been resolute in their commitment to witnessing all the evidence against their daughter, even relocating from their Hereford home to Manchester for this purpose. Although Letby's motives remain enigmatic, the prosecution offered various theories during her trial to explain the reasons behind the killings. Among these theories were notions of boredom, deriving a thrill from the events surrounding the deaths, and deriving satisfaction from a sense of control akin to playing God. The prosecution conveyed to the jury that she exhibited control and anticipation, seemingly enjoying the unfolding of events she had predicted. Another conceivable incentive highlighted by the prosecution was the notion that the killings were aimed at garnering the attention of a married doctor. This doctor, who would be called upon in critical situations, was alleged to have had a secret relationship with Letby. She denied these assertions, including any involvement with the married doctor. In the wake of the verdict, the Guardian noted that the closest approximation to a confession was found in post-it notes discovered in Letby's handbag following her arrest. Among these notes was one containing handwritten scribbles that read, "I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them." During the trial, Letby disavowed this as a confession, explaining that it was an expression of her mental turmoil written while she was under investigation. After the trial's conclusion, reports emerged indicating that the police were actively looking into the possibility that Letby might have caused harm to several additional babies. An ongoing investigation is underway into dubious occurrences at the Countess of Chester Hospital, encompassing approximately 30 other infants. Letby had also been employed at Liverpool Women's Hospital during 2012 and 2015, prompting police to extend their inquiry to cover all neonatal admissions within that hospital during those time frames. Health Secretary Steve Barclay said, "I would like to send my deepest sympathy to all the parents and families impacted by this horrendous case. This inquiry will seek to ensure the parents and families impacted get the answers they need. I am determined their voices are heard, and they are involved in shaping the scope of the inquiry should they wish to do so." Comment down below what you think of Letby's case. Thank you for watching the video up to this point. Let's meet again next week for another compelling case. Stay safe out there.